the lucky few who works in a high-demand career, finding a new job can be challenging and frustrating experience. You can use proactive strategies for finding a new job, and tips for finding a new job are applicable to all job seekers, from those just starting out to experienced candidates who need a quick refresher. Here are some of the best tips for finding a new job at any career level.
Get clear on what you want. Before starting your job search, take the time to reflect on your strengths and weaknesses and the type of work you enjoy doing. The better you know yourself, the more likely you'll find a new job that provides you with greater satisfaction. What do you want in a job? What's most important: title, money, promotion, the work itself, the location, or company culture?
Number two, research your target companies. Once you know what you want, it's time for you to find what companies you're applying for want. A great tip for finding a new job is to investigate a company's Glassdoor page. It will help you get a feel for their company's culture, figure out what questions are commonly asked in interviews, and even discover what salary you're likely to be paid.
Resume is still one of the most critical tools of a job search. One of the best tips for finding a new job is to have an achievement-oriented resume that includes quantifiable achievements that are relevant to the job you're applying for.
Number three, tailor your resume to each job. Your resume is still one of the most critical tools of a job search. A lot of resumes I see are full of responsibilities instead of tangible achievements, and job seekers send the same resume to various openings. One of my best tips for finding a new job is to have an achievement-oriented resume that includes quantifiable achievements that are relevant to the job you're applying for.
Make yourself an obvious fit. Study the words and phrases that are used in the job description. Make sure you include them in your resume, provided you have that experience, of course. Tailor your resume to each job. The recruiter should know within a few seconds of looking at your resume that you have the skills they are looking for.
And here is the number four. Create your online career brand. Building your brand simply means showcasing your expertise and passion online where employers searching the web can find it. Most recruiters, including myself, can LinkedIn as their primary search tool, and if you're professional, you need to be using LinkedIn to your full advantage. It's a great resource for finding people working at companies that interest you, and also for positioning yourself to be found by recruiters and hiring managers with relevant openings.
Tip number 5, get organized. Before you start applying for jobs or interviewing with employers, take a moment to develop a system that works for you in organizing your job search. A simple spreadsheet works best for many to keep a track of the jobs you applying for, where you have been invited to interview, etc.
Number 6. Build, cultivate, and utilize your network of contacts. For the vast majority of job seekers, a large and strong network of contacts, people who know you and want to help you uncover job leads result and in more job opportunities. Networking in person and in online is essential to your success in your job research.
Don't limit yourself to online applications. If you rely only on submitting online application, you could be looking for a job for a very long time. By the time you apply, the company might be in the final interview stage, or the job might have been filled. Contact companies that interest you directly. You might get a contact with an internal recruiter or schedule information interviews with the people who work in those companies. Ideally, you want to be known to the people who might influence you getting your foot in the door.
8. Aim to complete a few job-related goals daily. It takes a great deal of time and effort to find a new job. In a long job search, it's easy to get discouraged and distracted. But by focusing on achieving daily goals, you can motivate yourself while also building a foundation for success.
Number 9. Be kind to yourself. Looking for a job can be stressful, so take some time to meditate, exercise, watch a movie, or whatever it is that helps you unwind. Create a good support network, having a people brainstorm with or vent your frustration to will help the process be less painful.
Tip number 10. Develop examples and stories that showcase your skills. This is one of the main tips for finding a new job. People remember stories, so your goal should be developing a set of interview stories you can use in networking meetings or job interviews that clearly demonstrate your skills, achievement, and passion for your work. Be memorable. Using stories may also help you feel more comfortable talking about yourself.
Tips number 11. Prepare for all job interviews. Before you get called for your first interview, develop responses for common interview questions and practice them. Ideally, using the mock interviewing technique with a friend, network, contact, or interview coach. The more prepared you are for the interview, the more comfortable you'll be, and the more likely you succeed.
Number 12. Write thank you notes after interviews to all interviewers. A quick notes by email is fine of things that emphasize your interests and fit with the job and employer. Will not get you the job offer, but I will help me you stand out from the majority of the job seeker who do not bother with this simple act of courtesy.
Number 13. Continue following up with hiring managers. Your work is not done once the interview is complete or the thank you note sent. Following up with the hiring manager regularly shows your interest and enthusiasm for the job. The key is doing so in a way that is professional while making you sound pesky or needy.
Number 14. Expect the job search to take longer than you think. You can hope to have a new job within a short period, but likely, reality is that it might take months to find the right opportunity and get offered the position. You should mentally prepare yourself for a long battle, and then you can be happily surprised if you are one of the lucky few whose job search is short.
The killer interview do's. Employers view your performance in the job interview as a sample of your work product. Demonstrate the high quality of your work by following these do's. Do show respect for the employer and the opportunity. Arrive 10 to 15 minutes early, dress appropriately or a little more formally for the job and organization, and well prepared for the interview. Number 2. Do know the job and how you fit the job's requirements. Bring a copy of the job description with you when you go to the interview. Before the interview, study the job description carefully, particularly the requirements. Number 3. Do be prepared to answer the standard job interview questions. Study the most commonly asked job interview questions and prepare your responses in advance. Customize to each employer and have good questions ready to ask the interviewers. Number 4. Do research the employer. The quickest way to fail an interview is to know nothing about the employer or to ask uninformed questions like, "What do you do here?" Your research should include what the company does, where they are located, who works there, and how they are viewed. Number 5. Do bring business cards and copies of relevant documents with you. Knowing the names of your interviewers is essential for sending the thank you notes after the interview. An excellent way to collect that information is to ask for the person's business card, which should also give you their job title and email address. Exchanging business cards is a common practice, so make sure to give each interviewer your own business card. The killer interview do nots. Most of the time, the people interviewing you want you to succeed. Make it easy for them to support you as a job candidate. Be avoiding making these mistakes. Number 1. Do not lie or misrepresent anything. Number 2, do not trust your employer or any co-workers. Number 3, do not talk or text on your smartphone during the interview. Number 4, do not ask questions about background checks and drug tests or races, holidays, and vacations until the job offer negotiation. Number 5, do not forget to send a thank you note after the interview. The bottom line, following these do's and don'ts should help you be successful in your job interviews. Remember that employers view your actions in the whole hiring process as examples of your work. Show them what a good worker you are. Now, go and knock their socks off. We'll give you some tips on how to answer job interviews. Number 1, tell me about yourself. Tips: concentrate on telling them about your work related skills as opposed to your home life. They are not interested in your home life.
Okay, tell me about yourself.
First and foremost, sir, I am a hardworking, loyal, and enthusiastic person who understands how important work is to my overall happiness. I take my work very seriously and I am always looking to improve my skills and qualification so I can work to the highest standards possible in my role. I genuinely believe that there are two types of employees, sir. The first is someone who turns up to work and does their job so they can just pay their bills. The second employee type is someone who puts their all into their job, is totally committed and does all they can to help their employer achieve their goals. Sir, I am the second employee here. And I believe my previous track record and strong appraisals demonstrate that, sir.
Number 2, why do you want to work here? Tips: tell them about the preparation work you have done in the build up to the interview.
Why do you want to work here?
Sir, having studied the person's specification and job description for this role, I feel I have the skills and the qualities and attributes to carry out the job to a very high standard, sir. I also feel the role will give me a new, fresh challenge, something which I have been looking for something now. Having also studied your company in detail, there seems to be a very positive approach to the work you carry out. And I also very much like the way you strive to deliver a high standard of customer care, sir. High levels of customer care are not common nowadays, sir. And I certainly want to work in a company that looks after its customer as I enjoy seeing, sir, the positive customer interaction, feedback, and the testimonials, the testimonials within my job, sir.
Question number 3, what are your strengths? Tips: again, focus on the person's specification for the role you are applying for.
What are your strengths?
I have many positive qualities and attributes to bring this role, sir. But I believe my main key strengths are I have a hardworking nature. I am always looking for the positive in every solution, sir. I am a great team player. I like to support and help develop others. And I am dependable, sir. One thing that I feel makes me stand out from the majority of employees is that I am always looking for ways to improve the way I perform at work, sir.
Question number 4, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Tips: don't tell them you plan to have moved from their company, either internally or externally. Don't tell them you want to be sat where they are.
Where do you see yourself after 5 years from now?
If I am successful today, sir, the first thing I plan to get to do is competent in the role as soon as possible, sir. I have no idea how long this will take. However, based on my high levels of enthusiasm, I am to get trained up very quickly. Once I am trained, sir, up in the role to a good standard, I would like to consolidate my skills and become experienced within the team. It is very important, sir, to me to be accepted and respected by my work colleagues and peers, and I am also want to do well in my appraisals.
Question number 5. What are your weaknesses? Tips: anyone who tells the interview panel they have no weaknesses is telling porkies. We all have weaknesses.
What are your weaknesses?
I do have one weakness, and that is sometimes get slightly irritated, sir, when people don't carry out their work to a high standard. Because I set myself high standards, sir. I expect others to help them too, and this is not always the case. Although it can irritate me at times, I have learned to just focus on my own job and do it to as consistent high standards, sir.
Okay, that's all, folks. Those were the tips that can be used during your job interview. And we hope that you can use that, or it would be helpful for your future job hunting.
Just
So-
press the I button.
Subscribe.
Bell, mga sis!
Play na lang, wala pa.
Bye.